I feel like it's a good thing that people try to be different and try to do different things and not be the normal that everyone kind of wants to be. But at the same time, how do I even put it? Are you trying to be different, or are you just following everybody else because that's the new normal?
What is good, people? My name is Thorin Joshua, and I am the host of the No Borders podcast. Look, I'm going to be honest. In life, we have standards and expectations and just realities and all these things that we just live our lives by. But here on No Borders, we want to have discussions, debates, topics, and just bring on individuals that are literally living a life trying to pursue breaking out of those standards and out of those borders per se. So that's where we get the title from. See what we did? Anyways, yeah. If that's something that you are interested in, then, I would love to encourage you guys to like, comment, subscribe, especially if you're watching on YouTube. But if you're listening audio only, then don't forget to follow the podcast. I think that's how it works. And then rate it and all those sort of things. We want to get going up on them charts and stuff like that. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Common Sense Network on Instagram and YouTube and just stuff like that for more content in general. But yeah, today I'm interested and I'm excited for this conversation I'm about to have. It's going to be a deep one. It's going to be a difficult one to have as well, just because the topic is so broad. But it's going to be something that affects our lives all in general. And I've got a great guest that's going to be joining me. She's a student from Manchester Metropolitan University, from the northeast of the UK. I'm going to let her introduce herself. I'm going to bring her on right now.
The nerves. Oh, wait, here we are.
How you feeling?
I mean, like you said, the subject's pretty, it's broad. So it can literally go from here to down there.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to see. But yeah.
Tell the people a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you do.
Okay, so like Torin said, I'm a student at MMU. I grew up in the northeast, but I'm originally Angolan. I speak 2 languages because in Angola I speak Portuguese. I also have a YouTube channel as well called eFarms. You go check that out too. But yeah, that's pretty much me.
Nice. So the reason I brought on Elizabeth is I put a post out on Instagram just kind of talking about this idea of normality and what people's ideas on it. And her response was quite interesting. We started chatting and chopping it up for a while. And I was like, you know what, let's just actually go into this conversation properly. Do you know what I mean? For the podcast and stuff like that. So just some context, what we're actually going to be talking about is, what is this idea of normality? Why do we have it? Where did it come from? And how does it affect our lives and stuff like that? So, the reason why I found it so interesting is just because this standard normal is actually quite paradoxical, in the sense of it's all about achieving this one thing that everybody goes by, but literally nobody is the same. So how can we have a normal? Do you know what I mean? So
basically,
my first question to you is, what is your definition of normal? How do you perceive it and stuff like that?
I would say normal, the definition of normal is what a majority of group have decided on what is right from the wrong. That is literally, I would say that is the most basic way to describe normal. But then if you go deep into that, not everybody's normal is the same. You know what I mean? What I see as normal, you might not see as normal. What my mom might see as normal will not be what I see as normal. Everyone's definition of normal is different, but I would definitely say it's just what a majority group would say, okay, this is what's right. This is what seems correct. Basically. Yeah. I actually looked up the definition online, and it was basically the idea of conforming to a standard that's usual or expected. So as you said, it's the idea of it's a particular group or a bunch of people that see something and agree this is what everybody's going to do. I think the biggest thing for me is wondering, why do you think that has actually come about? Why is it a thing that our actual nature in general is to not be the same? Everyone has this individuality about them, yet we all try to fit ourselves into the same box. So where do you think that has actually come from in general? I would say, I think as society has developed, everybody kind of tried to break out of certain things. For example, way back in the day, it'd be the man that would go to work and the wife would stay at home and make children and clean. But a lot of us obviously have broken out of that. Women work, women go to school, women do what they want. A lot of women even do what you say would be a male job. So I feel like as people evolve, as humans evolve and society evolves, you kind of break out of certain things that would have been seen normal then, but now it's normal now. Wouldn't have seen normal then. And what's normal now? Do you know what I mean?
It just changes over time.
It just changes over time, basically. Like, what else was I going to say? Oh, I lost my point there.
I definitely hear what you're saying. It's the idea of like the way things just keep changing over time. It shows how the normal can develop and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say that our normal now is not normal from way back then. Like, for example, like I said, like women's rights, that wasn't the normal then. We had suffragettes that were fighting for women's rights. Now, women's rights is a normal thing. Like, you wouldn't even think a woman can't do something that's crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even like gay rights and gays being able to get married, that wasn't a norm back then, but now that is something that if someone said, no, that's not right, you'd be like, whoa, excuse me?
Yeah.
People should be able to do that, you know?
Yeah.
Like with that.
Yeah. I think, see, that's the thing that makes it interesting to me. Again, as I said, like the paradoxical nature of something being normal, the fact that it's this target that everyone reaches for, but the target's always moving. So it's like, how can we have a standard that's not consistent? And I think the first reason why I thought it's actually got to this point is at the end of the day, it's all about everyone trying to be safe. It's our human to try to fit in and be a part of something with each other and be part of a group. And I think that's where it's like really stemmed from. And again, it's always like, it's that analogy of like a black sheep, you know, usually the black sheep person that's out in the fields and they are actually in more danger and stuff like that. So again, it's the idea of how things change over time to the point where it becomes normal and it becomes more accepted by society. Do you think that's actually a good thing, that it's so adaptable and can change? As much as it brings good things,
I feel like it's good that everyone tries to be different, but then I feel like people are just trying too hard to be different. Like, it's like you said, even though people try to be outside the box and be that black sheep, they're still fitted into a specific category. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, even though you said, no, I'm different, okay, but there's 10 other people that are different like you. You know what I mean? So are you really different? You get what I'm trying to say? I feel like it's a good thing that people try to be different and try to do different things and not be the normal that everyone kind of wants to be. But at the same time, how do I even put it? Are you trying to be different, or are you just following everybody else because that's the new normal?
Yeah, that was an interesting point that we started to touch on Instagram, is the idea of, is being different now the new normal? Like, I bet everybody out here listening knows someone that started their own Instagram business or like a YouTube channel or those sort of different things. You know, before people had the typical 9-to-5 dream, all of these sort of things, but now everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Everybody wants to go on themselves and do their own thing. So is that now becoming the normal? Or is it a thing where they are going against the old? Do you get what I'm saying?
I do. That's the thing. It's them ones where, like, I wouldn't be bothered with a 9-to-5. Like, I wouldn't care if I had a 9-to-5. Okay, I've got a job. That's great. But then there's other people that definitely want to be entrepreneurs. I feel like it is the new normal, but at the same time, it's kind of fighting the old normal so that old normal doesn't exist anymore. So then we can be like different. But then at the same time, the old normal is no longer the new normal. So this whole entrepreneur and stuff like that, isn't that the new normal? Yeah. So it kind of, because everyone's doing it now. So how could that be different if everyone's doing it?
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing for me with that is the reason why I asked, is it a bad thing, is because now people are doing it. Now people are doing it to be different. That's becoming their motivation rather than it being their passion and stuff like that. Now it's a thing where we see so many people that are, for example, with this influencer culture and stuff like that, you see so many people like trying to get into that industry and social media and all this sort of stuff. But now it's at the point where, because so many people do it, the people that are actually passionate and invested into it, their market is being dropped. Their opportunities are being slowed, and now everything that's going about it is just, it's just a bit, you see someone on Instagram doing their thing and it's kind of like, you're just like everybody else, but in their own way, and that's what makes them feel unique. But then it's like, you're just ruining the market for everybody else.
It's like TikTok. It's exactly like TikTok. Like, what's her name? Charlie D'Amelio, she could be doing this, and then there'll be someone else who's an actual creative, and have you seen the comparison in likes and shares?
Yeah. Like, that's just going on a little bit of a tangent. What do you actually think? Why do you think she's so popular? I don't actually understand how TikTok in general, I don't understand how these dances and stuff are getting so
I find
many
them so entertaining. I like TikTok.
Right, I see. When I go on TikTok, yeah, if you see my For You page and stuff, it's all like, I guess, actual creative stuff. I don't want to say that in you know what I mean?
No,
but
I get you.
There's some people out here making like TikTok movies and stuff like that, and then
TikTok
you got her
movies,
just saying, and it's just like, should she be getting all the clout and all the opportunities that she's getting for something like that?
I honestly don't get how she's gotten so big when literally all she does is like, I don't get it. My sister has TikTok and she'll be doing this, and I'm like, okay. But then Charlie does it. I'm just like, okay. I don't understand how you've gotten so big when you basically do nothing.
Yeah.
When there's people out there with real talent. But whatever.
Do you think I don't want to make it just about her, but just in general, I guess about, as I was saying about the market and the industries and stuff like that, because now everybody's doing it and it's not necessarily like passions and stuff like that. Do you think that the thing that sort of motivates it, or what the industry will see other people's favorites being, if that makes sense? So rather than like talent or skill, the people behind the machine are looking at, for example, Charlie, and being like, oh, she's very marketable. This is someone that will push more, rather than looking for talent and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like with people that have been pushed more have a certain look. They all have a certain look, and that's the problem I think with the industry at the moment, is the fact that everyone just goes for looks instead of real talent.
Yeah.
And I feel like even though there are times where like, okay, yes, that person's definitely talented, like, wow, they're actually showing that this person's talented, but then at the same time, they will still go for the idea of what this person what this person looks like. They always go for what this person looks like, and how they're like, okay, if you look this certain way, then we can kind of mold you to do this, to kind of do that. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
As I feel like, I think it's so based on looks. It's so materialistic than actually, like, not materialistic. It's more, what's the word I'm looking for? When someone just bases off looks than anything else.
So it's the marketability of it, basically.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. Okay. So what position do you think media actually plays on determining what is seen by normal in society?
A big one. Oh my goodness, a big one. TV, movies, music.
Preach to them. Let them know.
All of that stuff. And do you know what it is? We're all kind of, what's even the word? I would say like we'll all kind of get sucked in by it. Because you will watch, like, for example, let's say we're kids, right? You'll watch a movie about, let's say it's like a rom-com. You will be like, okay, that's what real love is like. But is real love really like this? Is that the way that they want to look at it? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like all of that is influenced by the decisions that we make, the things that we do. That's why I would say they definitely capitalize on the fact that that is what's normal, because of what they're constantly pushing out to everybody. So I would say for them, whatever they put out, we would be like, oh yeah, that's right, that's normal, that makes sense. But is it though? Just because they've decided that it is. But I would definitely say the media has a big influence on how we think, how we feel, what we do, what we deem as right, what we deem as wrong. Big impact, huge.
Yeah, spitting, you know. It is very true. I think even if you look at the psychology about like conforming to normality and stuff like that, at the end of the day, it's what you see the most. Like the more you see something, especially on, like, for example, Instagram and stuff like that, when you're seeing someone wear a particular thing so often, that's what is becoming normal in your brain.
It's like the essential hoodies. Okay, I have one. I saw it so much that I wanted one. Yeah, but it's just a hoodie. It's literally just a hoodie that says essential on it. Yeah. But yeah, I saw it so much that I was like, no, I need to get one. I need to have one. And now I have one. I'm kind of just like, well, it's just. Yeah.
So do you think it actually, because you were influenced by it so much, do you think it actually changed what you would have actually done? Did it change your behavior?
100%. 100%. Like, it's just a hoodie. I could easily get myself the exact same type of quality hoodie on Amazon for like £10.
Yeah.
But the fact that it says essential on it, and then it has that whole like reflective thing on it, they're like, oh, okay. And then the more you see it, constantly seeing on one influencer to the next, another person, then you're like, okay, it's actually nice. Then you see it again. Then you start to like change your idea of it. You're like, oh, actually, that's actually kind of nice. Oh, the lettering's cool. Oh, and then this, and then and then that, and the next thing you know, you want it.
So do you think, from your personal experience, do you think it was a thing where you were actually like, oh, this is nice because it looks nice? Or was it a thing of, this is nice and I can see how other people are getting gratification from having one. That's why I also want one. Or do you think it was a thing where you weren't even thinking about that, but that's what caused it, if that makes sense?
No, for me, I would say for me to get it, I had to see it on other people to then see if it would look nice on me, if you get what I mean. It wasn't even a case of like, oh, that's nice, let me get it. It was kind of like, let me see on other people. And then the more I saw it, the more I was like, okay, now I want one.
Yeah. So do you think people should start pursuing breaking the norms, or do you think it's a thing where this whole normality concept isn't even a bad thing?
I think it's them ones where, like, let's say we do try to change the norm, something else will be the norm. You get what I mean? Society is constantly changing. Life is constantly changing. We're constantly evolving. So even if we said, okay, no, we're going to remove normal doesn't exist, there'll still be something. Like I said, a majority group will still see something as correct. Yeah. So I feel like even if we said, okay, normal doesn't exist, there's still going to be a group of people that do the same thing, still be a group of people that do something. And then there'll be obviously that small percentage that are you would say that are kind of different, right?
Yeah.
But then I feel like even as society changes, we will still have that one thing that's normal.
Yeah.
Even how much we decide that, no, we don't want normal, there'll still always be that one thing that will be normal.
Yeah.
You get me?
At the end of the day, it's one of them things where it's always going to be whatever the majority are repping. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
I wanna like run this. I was thinking about it just before we had this talk and stuff, and I want to run this idea about you instead of normality, the concept of commonality. So just the idea of, for example, as you said, there's always going to be groups of people that do particular things that are seen as normal within their groups. But what if it's a thing where it isn't that it's just normal? It's just that it's just common within the different groups. Does that make sense between the? Because I think it's a thing. If not taking it too deep, but if you look at things like even like on a moral standpoint, so if you look at things like during the wars and stuff like that, what was normal was to hate the Jews. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was a thing of morally, we all know now that isn't right. Do you know what I mean? And it's a thing where it's because over time people saw it as it was the common thing to do. And as you said, with the essential studies for you, it develops you into thinking, oh yeah, that was what you wanted. That's what you thought was nice. Do you know what I mean? So I think, what do you think about, where do you think the picture of commonality fits into producing this normal that we all try and strive for?
I think they probably go hand in hand to a certain extent, because actually, no, I do think they go hand in hand, because common and normal kind of blend into each other, because what's common would be kind of what's normal too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like they kind of blend in with each other. Yeah, I would say they blend in with each other. Yeah.
See, the way that I sort of thought about it is, when I first thought about it, I was like, yeah, they're basically the same thing. They might even trigger each other, really. But I think as well, there's another angle to normal, is when you look at normal, you got the opposite, which is weird. And
right, yeah.
I think the difference is normal is seen as, just the word itself is seen as a positive thing, because the opposite is weird, which is a negative and stuff like that. When you look at commonality and stuff like that, it's a thing where it's not necessarily to do with right or wrong, it's just what is. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of things that I would do that's common to me or common to the people around me, but it's not as weird. So it can also be normal. But
that
then
can tie in with culture. Sorry, I cut you off.
Carry on.
No, that ties in with culture, because what's common in my culture might not be common in your culture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then that doesn't necessarily mean it's not normal or weird. So I definitely get what you mean. 100%, yeah.
Now, talk to me a little bit more about like the whole culture thing, especially coming from like a bilingual background and all those sort of things. What's, like, in terms of your experiences, how has your normal, in terms of your culture and your normal, especially the UK culture or the world around you, like what's the differences and what's the similarities and stuff?
I would definitely go on a point of food and discipline, right? Food and discipline. Discipline, okay, if I've done something wrong, my mom will hit me. Okay. That's just that for me. That for me, that does that make sense? Like, if I've done something wrong, my mom she'll hit me. That's her discipline. But then for someone who's obviously, I would say, British, that's like, what? Your mom hit you? That's crazy. That's mad, That's insane. But I'm like, no, but that's her showing me that I've done wrong. You know what I mean? And then I say the same with food. Like, obviously I eat traditional food, but then to someone who's British, they might look at that and be like, what is that? And yet your traditional food's fish and chips. And then I might look at that and be like, why would you eat that? That doesn't make any sense. So I would say with discipline and food, they're different to somebody else's culture. Someone else might look at that and be like, but then that's normal to me.
Yeah.
So then I would definitely say it ties in with what you said, like it's normal to me, but it's like different to somebody else.
Yeah, but it's common.
But it's common. It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
It is. It just, like you said, it is. It just is.
It just is.
It is.
Nah, it is true because I had like a conversation with this security guard at my work, and basically he's come from India, I believe, and they were having this huge debate about religion and stuff like that, and their perspectives and things, and it seemed like it was getting really, really heated. So then I was just like, "Yo, is everything cool?" Tried to cool him down and stuff, and he was like, "Oh, there's nothing to worry about. I've come all the way to the UK. We're having discussions, and at the end of the day, we have different cultures, we have different experiences. What's the point of me being here without me trying to get to know their culture and trying to understand them and them understand me, and us get to this point where we're not judged for our commonalities just because it's not your normal? Do you know what I mean? So I guess what do you think is the next steps that society can take to understanding everybody's individual normal rather than like judging it or basing it as a negative thing?
I would say just to be open-minded. Like just because it's not common to you, like you said, doesn't mean it's not common. So just be open-minded. If someone else is something, I don't even want to use the word different, but like if someone's, like you say, commonality is obviously not your common, at least be open-minded to theirs. Yeah. And at least understand theirs and be like, oh, okay, so that's what you do. Don't be quick to judge. I would say that. Don't be quick to judge. Don't be like, like actually understand it and be like, oh, that's how you do things. That's cool. That's calm. That's great. Don't be quick to judge somebody else's, like you said, commonality. Yeah. Compared to your common.
Yeah. My throat is just getting all dry. It's true because, as I said, it's the idea of, I think it all starts with conversation at the end of the day. Even if we look at, like with the Black Lives Matter stuff that's been going on, and it's mad to see how many like other races just didn't understand a lot of the things that were going on. But now having the conversation and the awareness has been built, it's been a thing of, oh, okay. I think one of the biggest things as well is just. Okay. I kind of want to just explore the idea of diving into your individualism. So I think one of the biggest things is, again, because normal is sometimes seen as positive compared to being weird and stuff like that. There's parts of ourselves that we don't showcase to the world and that we hide because we feel like it's weird and stuff like that. So I think what do you think are the positives of embracing your individualism and stuff like that? But then on top of that, how do you think we can make steps towards people actually doing that?
So wait, let me. Hold on. Say all that again. It was a lot.
Sorry. So I was saying, in terms of, there's this big thing about, we all have our own individual personalities and things that we do and stuff like that, which is to do with ourselves. It makes us happy and stuff like that. But there's parts of that character that might not be seen as normal, which makes us feel negative about those things. So I think if we look at a lot of the geniuses and the crazy people that are so successful, a lot of the things that they actually do were never seen as normal. Like if you look at the scientists, when they're like, oh yeah, gravity exists, they're like, what? But now it's become normal. Do you know what I mean? So in terms of embracing that individualism that we all have, how would you encourage people to do that?
Right. So I feel like with individualism, it's kind of them ones where like, if you're, because everyone's different, right? We're all different. No one's the same person. So it's kind of them ones where I would say, if you're happy with your different, then other people won't look at your different as different. Okay. As much as I'm trying to make that make sense,
it's more like the contentment within that difference.
Yeah. So like if you're happy with like, you know, something that you might find out, I don't even want to use the word weird, but anyways, even though, let's say we all have like our little weirdness, right? We all have that. If you're happy with that and then showing that around other people, then people won't look at it as like, what are you doing? They're just like, oh, it's whatever. So I feel like to break out of that, everyone has to be comfortable enough with their own selves. Yeah. Because like, for example, there's a lot of people that even though that they know something might be weird, they're like, oh, I'm never going to show that side of myself because someone might look at it off. But if you're happy with that side of yourself and you're okay to show it to other people, then no one will ever look at it as something that's off. They'll be like, oh, that's just you being you. Like that's cool. That's you.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm trying to say.
I think it goes with what we were saying about how after a while being different becomes normal. And I think the key is to make being different normal, because at the end of the day, you're all different. So it's the easiest version of normality to kind of have. Do you know what I mean? I think again, when you see somebody out there openly being weird or openly being comfortable within themselves, it encourages you to do it more. But when you see everybody all stuck up, silent, and them things there, it's kind of a thing where we don't feel the encouragement to release those sort of sides of ourselves. And I think, especially just with this podcast in general, what our biggest thing about pursuing is and looking at is, how do people do that? How do people like live a life that's not confined by these standards and borders? And just do stuff that at the end of the day just makes them happy and makes them passionate about the life that we're living. Life's long, bro. Like, life is really long. So you might as well get used to living it in your weird self. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely. Be happy with who you are and what you've got, and just vibes. Honestly,
just vibes. All just weird,
vibes.
Just vibes.
Like, we're in the middle of a pandemic. There's no time to be doing up serious. Just go with the flow. Honestly.
Yeah, I think just in sort of closing thoughts, I think one of the biggest things is, again, I think the key to it at the end of the day is just embracing the individualism and realizing that the best version of normal to really look for is being different. I know that it comes from trying to protect ourselves and being like part of groups and stuff like that. But really and truly, it's actually kind of, if you flip it on its head and do what the opposite of it achieves, you'll actually get that you need from it, and that satisfaction of just living a content life and stuff like that.
It's a bit like, I don't know if you've seen High School Musical 1, the first one. And you know that song Status Quo, where everyone's like, stuff, and that's literally it. Everyone's stuck in their little groups, and then like, no, stick to what you know, blah blah blah, and then they all come together. Like, what's his name? Zeke the basketballer bakes. The mathematician girl, I forgot her name. She like danced. She was like Poppet, Locket, and whatnot.
She was like killing it, you know.
You know what I mean? And then they eventually kind of came together and was like, do you know what it is? Let's just be who we are.
Yeah. It sounds so cliche and just like typical, but I think the most important thing is, especially people around our age, like as students and stuff, we're at that stage where we're starting to realize the scam of trying to be normal. And I think when you look to a lot of more older people, they already have that mindset of sometimes you just got to be different. Sometimes you just got to be you, because they've got to that point where life is long. So I think just for some encouragement for people our age, it is the idea, right? Or now is the best time to invent yourself and be the person that you want to be, especially in the times of social media and with just so much access to the things that we want to do. You know what I mean? Like, live a life in the live a life just doing whatever it is you want to do. We have time to risk it right now. Do you know what I mean? And as you said, especially in a pandemic, life's too long and short at the same time.
Literally.
Just trying to fit into a box. What are your sort of closing thoughts?
What did you say, sorry?
What are your closing thoughts?
I agree with you. I would definitely say just be who you are. Like, even like, it's kind of them ones where like, yeah, someone might say this is normal, that's normal, but it's kind of just like, whatever. So, that's weird. So, don't do that. Like, so.
Yeah.
And then I wouldn't even say just for our age, but I'll definitely say for like the younger generation, like my sister's age. She's 13. Like, I feel like you have so much pressure being that age, so much pressure, especially being in high school, to be a certain way, when in reality, the older you get, you kind of just like, oh, I should have just been the way I wanted to be, because it's more embraced when I get older. So I would definitely say, like, at that age, just be who you want to be.
Yeah. Do you get that? Will embrace it. Do you get that thing when you look back at like primary school and secondary school and you're just like, nah, I was a jerk, because I really, really and truly was just trying to just do whatever, you know?
Sometimes I look back and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
No, but why? I would definitely say I was definitely one of those kids that definitely embraced my weirdness, right? I'm like, oh, but you're so weird, Yeah, okay. I definitely embrace it. But then sometimes you kind of feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be because everyone's looking at me weird. I wish I just embraced it fully instead of being like, hesitant, you know what I mean? But
I think the biggest thing that made me realize, you know what, this whole thing is a scam is like, as I said, when I look back on those times of all the things that I thought was weird, how they're cool now. And I'm like,
Yeah.
so I could have led the trend if I just was me. And even if you look at fashion and stuff like that, where like even the way that cargo pants and stuff like that are coming back. If you wore them 10 years ago, you were weird.
Yeah, definitely. Even like baggy jeans for like a female, wearing baggy jeans, like why wear baggy jeans? Only skinnies. Now I wear baggy jeans and I love them. They're comfortable.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It is literally one of them ones. I think just overall, it's a case of, again, once people realize that the standard is always changing, but when it changes, it goes in circles. It makes people realize, you know what, let me just be consistent in who I am. And, you know, time will catch up to my trend. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And that's that, to be honest. I think, again, it's just some food for thought to the listeners out there that are thinking about, you know, especially in this time where you have time to think about the person that you want to be and the experiences you want to kind of undertake and stuff like that. And it's been interesting, like, you know, just chopping it up with you, Elizabeth, and really
it's good,
man. But what's next for you? What sort of things are you working on with yourself in terms of, I guess, trying to whether break out or understand this normality or just be you?
I would say, like you said, like being in this pandemic, you have a lot to think about the person you want to be, who you want to be. And I would definitely say from being in this pandemic, I've definitely learned, like with the whole normality thing, is kind of just be you, literally just be you. Like, that's it. And I would say with me as well, sometimes you feel like being you too much is too much for people, but then it's kind of like people will love you and appreciate you regardless. Yeah. Regardless. And if people, I feel like as well, if the people around you don't appreciate that, then maybe you shouldn't be around them. You shouldn't. You shouldn't. You should be able to be yourself to the fullest around people, around the people that you're around. And if they're like, then remove them. They're not for you. They're not for you.
Yeah, I think especially as well, just the importance of actually spending the time to intentionally get to know you as well.
Yes, self-love.
It's so easy to be like, yeah, this is me, but you haven't really spent the time actually diving into the person that you are to even know who that is. And I think that's just something that's so important for people to really do. Just intentionally spend time with yourself to understand what is your normal and what is the things that make you happy and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't want to be too cliche and typical stuff like that, but you know, it happens.
Honestly, no.
Nah, thank you so much for coming on, Elizabeth.
It's been fun.
All your things and that YouTube channel. But yeah, shout out all your things.
Sorry. Okay, my Instagram is my name, Elizabeth Farmhouse. My YouTube, eFarms. That's me.
Hey, everybody go check it out. We'll put it all in the description and stuff like that. Again, I want to encourage you guys to, you know, like, comment, subscribe to all of these sort of things and let us know as well. I think the best thing that's going to make this podcast interesting is the conversations that it's going to push and going to create. It's all about your engagement and the thoughts that you guys are having just about life and how you can kind of create a life that makes you happy and you passionate about the things you're going to do. And again, as I said, don't forget to follow the TCS network and stuff like that. Again, the whole network in general is so focused on having conversations and breaking out of these echo chambers and stuff like that. And yeah, just really exploring just different things about life. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Let us know what you thought and we'll see you soon.